Good day, everyone. We are the Group 3, and we are going to discuss the general concept of contracts. The objectives are to understand the definition of contracts, to identify the essential requisites of a contract, to classify contracts by their form, obligations, and considerations, to learn about defective contracts, and to understand performance and breach of contracts. Definition, elements, and classification of contracts under Articles 1305 to 1314. Under Article 1305 of the Civil Code of the Philippines, a contract is defined as a meeting of minds between two or more persons, where one binds oneself with respect to the other, to give something or to render some service. This definition lays the foundation of a contract by focusing on three elements. First is meeting of minds. It refers to the mutual understanding and agreement between the parties involved. In simpler terms, both parties are on the same page about what they are agreeing to do. They voluntarily and knowingly accept the terms. Without this mutual consent, there can be no valid contract. Second is two or more persons. A contract involves at least two parties, each having a specific role to play. One party makes an offer, a house, or provides a service. Next is two or more persons. A contract involves at least two parties, each having a specific role to play. One party makes an offer, example, to sell a house or provide a service, and the other accepts the offer under agreed upon terms. These parties can be individuals, companies, organizations, or even the government. Third is obligation to give or render something. The article mentions two possible outcomes of a contract: to give something and to render some service. To give something, it means transferring ownership or delivering an item, such as selling goods, leasing property, or lending money. And to render some service, it means performing a task or providing help, such as teaching, repairing, or consulting. So why is this important? A contract is not just a casual promise, it is enforceable by law. Once entered, both parties are legally bound to fulfill their obligations. This definition emphasizes how contracts are meant to ensure fairness and accountability. For example, if someone agrees to sell you a car and you agree to pay for it, this mutual consent creates a contract. If either party fails to fulfill their end, example, not delivering the car or not paying, the injured party can take legal action.
Essential requisites: the consent, object, and cause. Article 1318 to 1347. These three elements, which is the consent, object, and cause, are fundamental for the contract to be enforceable. The first one is consent. This refers to the mutual agreement between the contracting parties. This is the agreement of the will of both parties to be bound by the contract. The consent must be given freely, without fraud, mistake, undue influence, or juries. If the consent is defective, the contract may be voidable, meaning it can be legally challenged and potentially annulled. The second one is object. This refers to the subject matter of the contract. This is the subject matter of the contract must be determinate, meaning it can be identified or made certain. And the object must be lawful, possible, and within the commands of men, meaning it must be something that can't be legally traded or transacted. The third one is cause. This refers to the reason or purpose for which the obligation is created. This generally involves the motivation, consideration for entering into a contract. The cause must be lawful and not contrary to the public policy or morals. This is the scenario of the essential requisites, the sale of a motorbike. This scenario demonstrates a legally valid contract since all three essential elements, which are the consent, object, and cause, are present and lawful. So here is the scenario. Carlos, a motorbike enthusiast, decides to sell his free love motorcycle to his friend, Anna. They meet to discuss the terms of sale. So in this scenario, the consent is Carlos and Anna both fairly agree to the transaction. Carlos, which is the seller, willingly offers to sell a motorbike for $150,000, and Anna, the buyer, accepts the price without any hesitation or external pressure. Since both parties freely agreed to the transaction, this means that the consent is valid. The object of the scenario is the Carlos motorbike. It is specific, determinate, as they both clearly identify the bike by its model, color, and registration number. This means that both parties know exactly what is being sold and bought. And the cause for the scenario is the reason or consideration for entering into the contract. For Carlos, the cost of his obligation is $150,000 that he will receive in exchange of his motorbike. For the cost of this scenario is the ownership and the possession of the motorbike that she will gain at agreed price. Both causes are lawful, meaning they comply with the legal and ethical standards.
Kinds of contract. Articles 1356 to 1370. Formal contract. Formal contract requires specific formalities or written documentation to be valid. Example: a donation of parcel of land. Under Philippine tax law, donation of real property must be made in a public document and accepted in the same form to be valid. Formal contract often involve important or high-value transactions, such as real estate deals or business agreement. To ensure legitimacy and prevent dispute, this contract must follow specific formalities, like being written and notarized. Real contract. Real contract requires delivery of the object to be perfect. Example: a pledge of jewelry. The contract is perfected only when the jewelry is delivered to the creditor as security for loan. Real contract involves the transfer of a physical object or asset. The contract isn't complete until the object is delivered to the other party. This type of contract is often used for secured loans. Consensual contract. Consensual contracts are perfected by mere consent regardless of form. Example: a contract of sale of a phone. This type of contract is perfected the moment both parties agrees on the price and the object, even if the phone hasn't been delivered yet. Consensual contract focus on the agreement between parties rather than formalities or physical delivery, as long as both parties consent to the terms. The contract is considered valid. This type of contract is commonly used for everyday transactions like buying goods or services. Unilateral contract. Unilateral contract create obligation for only one party. Example: a promise by Maria to donate 5,000 pesos to a charity. In this case, only Maria has an obligation to fulfill,
while the charity doesn't need to perform any reciprocal act. Unilateral contract involve one-way obligation, where the only one party is bound to perform. The other party does not have any reciprocal obligations. This type of contract is often used for promises, gifts, or charitable donations. Bilateral contract. Bilateral contract impose obligations on both parties. Example, a lease agreement where Ana agrees to pay Carlos 10,000 pesos monthly in exchange for the use of his apartment. Both parties have obligations. Ana must pay rent and Carlos must provide the apartment for use. Bilateral contract involve mutual obligations, where both parties agrees to perform specific actions. This type of contract is commonly used for business agreement, services, and transactions where both parties have responsibilities. Onerous contract. Onerous contract involves an exchange of consideration where both parties provide something of value. Example, a contract of sales where Pedro sells his motorbike for Juan for only 120 pesos. Both parties provide something of value, the motorbike and the payment. Onerous contracts are the most common type of contract. They involve a mutual exchange of benefits, where both parties give and receive something of value. This can include goods, services, money, or other form of consideration. Gratuitous contract. Gratuitous contract involve no exchange or consideration, where one party provides a benefit without receiving anything in return. Example, a donation of Carlos' laptop to his younger brother. Carlos does not receive anything in return, as the transfer is purely out of generosity. Gratuitous contracts are often driven by generosity, charity, or a sense of obligation. They can include gifts, donations, or other form of benevolence.
Defective contracts under Articles 1390 to 1422.
Rescissible contracts. Rescissible contracts are valid and legally binding agreements but may be revoked or annulled due to damage or prejudice caused to one of the contracting parties or a third person. This contract remains effective and unless a court rescinds it through a judicial proceeding. Legal basis in the Philippines. Civil Code. Rescissible contracts are governed by Articles 1380 to 1389. Article 1380, contracts validly agreed upon may be rescinded in the cases established by a law. Ground for rescission. Article 1380, Civil Code of the Philippines. Contracts by representative without authority. If an agent or a legal representative enters into a contract beyond their authority, causing harm to the principal. Contracts in fraud of creditors. If a contract is made to defraud creditors, such as selling assets to avoid paying debts. I give you example situation of rescissible contract. Like guardian selling property at a loss. A guardian sells a minor land at a price of below market value. The court can rescind the sale to prevent financial harm to the minor. Number 2. Of the example of situations. Business owner transferring asset to avoid debt. A businessman transfers assets to his wife to avoid paying creditors. If proven fraudulent, the contract can be rescinded.
Voidable Contract Article 1390-1402. These contracts are valid and binding but may be annulled due to certain defects in consent. Voidable contract under Article 1390-1402 of the Civil Code are agreements that are legally valid and enforceable, meaning that obligation agreed upon by the parties involved can initially be performed. What makes a contract voidable? A contract becomes avoidable when there are certain issues or flaws in how the agreement was made. Especially the law identifies scenarios where consent, the mutual agreement to the terms of contract, is compromised. Consent is one of the initial elements of a valid contract, and if it's not given freely or knowingly, the contract can be challenged and potentially annulled. Contract entered into by minors or other incapacitated persons. Contract involving minors or other incapacitated persons are considered voidable under the law. This means the agreements are valid at first but can be cancelled or annulled due to the inability of the individuals to understand or consent to the terms of the contract. Example, let's say Anna, who is 16 years old, signs a contract to sell her camera to Ben for 5,000 pesos. Since Anna is a minor, she is legally unable to enter a binding contract. This means that the contract is voidable. Anna or her guardian can choose to cancel it. However, when Anna turns 18, he can confirm that agreement if she decides to accept the sale. At the point, the contract becomes fully valid. Contract signed under duress. A contract signed under duress is one where a person is forced or pressured into agreeing to the terms of contract against their will. In such cases, the consent given is not considered free or voluntary, which is a requirement for a valid contract. Duress can involve threats of harm, intimidation, or other forms of coercion that leave the individual with no real choice but to sign. Example, Maria is told by John that if she doesn't sign a business agreement, he will harm her family. Out of fear, Maria signs the contract. Since her consent was obtained through threats, the contract is voidable. Maria can later request its annulment as her agreement was not freely given.
Unenforceable contracts, Articles 1403 to 1408. Unenforceable contracts cannot be enforced in court unless they are ratified. This happens when a contract is defective due to certain legal formalities or lack of authority. Types of unenforceable contracts. Contracts entered into without proper authority or in excess of authority.
If someone makes a contract on behalf of another person without permission, the contract is unenforceable. It only becomes unenforceable if the rightful owner later agrees to it. Second, those that fail to comply with the statute of frauds. Agreements that should be in writing but are not. Third, agreements where both parties are incapable of giving consent, are legally incapable of making agreements, minors, people with mental disabilities, the contract is unenforceable. Example of unenforceable contract. Maria's unauthorized land sale. Maria enters into a contract to sell her cousin's land to Luis without her cousin's authorization. Since Maria lacks authority to sell, the contract is unenforceable unless her cousin later ratifies it.
Void or inexistent contracts, Articles 1409-1422. Void or inexistent contracts are those that lack at least one essential element of a valid contract or are expressly prohibited by law. These contracts are produce no legal effect from the beginning and cannot be ratified. Void or inexistent contracts are agreements that law does not recognize as valid. These contracts are considered invalid from the beginning and have no legal effect. This means that even in both parties agree on to the terms that law will not treat the contract as legal binding. Characteristics of void or inexistent contracts. First is they do not create rights or obligations. Since the law does not recognize these contracts, the parties involved cannot legally demand anything from each other. Second is they cannot be enforced in court. If one party fails to fulfill their part of a void contract, the other party cannot sue to enforce it. Example, a contract between Anna and Ben for the sale of illegal drugs is void because the object of the contract, illegal drugs, is unlawful. Such a contract has no legal effect and cannot be ratified.
Performance and breach of contracts.
Performance article. Performance article of 1233 to 1251. Performance referred to fulfill the obligations agreed upon in the contract.
Performance of contract. This means that fulfilling the promises or obligation that were agreed upon the contract. The performance could be either complete or considered substantial, depending on how well the obligation is met.
Complete performance. Article 1233. A contract is deemed fully performed when the obligation accomplishes everything acquired by the contract.
This happens when the person is responsible, called the obligator or the debtor, does exactly what the contract requires, nothing less, nothing more. The job or duty is done entirely.
Example, if Anna is required to deliver 100 chairs, her obligation is to complete it only when all 100 chairs are delivered as agreed. If she delivers 99 chairs, the obligation is incomplete unless the substantial performance applies. Substantial performance. Article of 1234. If the obligation has fulfilled most of their obligation, but with a slight deficiencies, substantial performance applies. However, the creditor may demand compensation for the deficiencies.
Sometimes the obligator completes the most of their duties but falls slightly short due to the minor issue. In this case, the law recognizes substantial performance. The creditor, the person expecting the result, might accept the work, but the obligator may need to pay her or fix the small amount of deficiency.
Example, Ben agreed to build a 10-meter wall, but he finished only 99.9 meters. This substantial performance, since the missing 0.1 meter is minor and doesn't affect the main purpose of the contract. However, Ben may need to compensate the client for the missing portion.
Special modes of payments in Article 1242 and 1251. Special modes of payments is an alternative ways of fulfilling an obligation beyond the standard delivery of money or performance of the agreed upon act. These modes are recognized by law to provide flexibility and convenience to debtors and creditors. Special modes of payments come into play when circumstances prevent a straightforward exchange of money for performance.
So we have here the two important models, which is the consignation and dation in payment. Consignation comes along if the creditor refuses to accept the payment from the obligor or the creditor cannot be found. The obligor may deposit the payment in court or juridical authorities, and once completed, the obligation is extinguished, meaning the obligation will be terminated. The obligor has nothing to do with the creditor. Example scenario of consignation is Juan owes Pedro a 50,000 pesos, but Pedro refuses to accept payment due to a personal conflict. Juan can deposit the money in court through consignation, and after fulfilling the legal process, Juan's debt is considered paid. The other modes is the dation and payments. Dation and payments, also known as payment by delivery. This payment allows the debtor to give goods or property as payment instead of cash to satisfy the obligation, and this cannot be done without the creditor's consent. This payment may require specific legal formalities, such as notarization or registration, and these modes can enable creditors to receive assets of value. So the example scenario of dation and payment is Maria owes Carlos at 100,000 pesos but has no cash. She offers her car worth 100,000 pesos as payment. If Carlos agrees, Maria's debt is extinguished through dation and payment. So another slide is the loss of things due in Article 1262 and 1269. Loss of things due, also known as the perdition or loss of subject matters. Example scenario of this is Leo agrees to deliver a specific antique vase to Emma. Before delivery, an earthquake destroys the vase. Since the loss was caused by an unforeseeable event and not due to Leo's negligence, his obligation is extinguished, or meaning it's terminated.
The breach of contracts under Articles 1165 to 1170. So, breach occurs when a party fails to fulfill their contractual obligations. So, a specific obligations under the Article 1165, if the obligation involves delivering a specific thing, so the debtor must exercise due diligence to preserve the item until it is delivered. So, for example, Thomas is obliged to deliver a specific car to Sophia. Before delivery, Thomas carelessly parks the car without proper security, and it gets stolen. So, Thomas will liable for damages because he failed to exercise due diligence. Next is delay or default under Article 1165. A party is considered in delay if they fail to perform their obligation on time, and after the creditor has made a formal demand unless the demand is not required by law. So for example, a supplier is contracted to deliver 500 sacks of rice on March 1, 2025. If they deliver the rice on March 5, they are in delay because they failed to deliver on the agreed time or date. So, if the contract is explicitly waives the need for demand, delay occurs automatically upon the due date. For example, if the contract states delivery by March 1 is essential, the supplier is immediately in delay if they miss the deadline.
Under of breach of contract, Article 1165 to 1170. Fraud and negligence, Article 1170. If a party causes harm due to fraud, negligence, or failure to comply with a contract terms, they are liable for damages. Fraud, Article 1170. Fraud occurs when one party intentionally deceives the other to violate the contract. This means that the party committing fraud knowingly makes false statements or misrepresentations to induce the other party to enter into a contract. For example, A seller knowingly delivers defective goods instead of the agreed upon quality. Next is negligence of Article 1170. Negligence occurs when one party fails to exercise reasonable care or diligence in fulfilling their obligations under the contract. This can result in harm or damage to the other party. For example, a delivery driver fails to secure cargo properly, causing damage during transport. Indemnity for damages. Damages can be awarded for various types of breach. First is non-performance, failing to deliver goods or services. Second is delay, delivering late or failing to deliver on time. Third, violation of terms, not following the agreed specification or conditions. Example, a contractor agrees to build a swimming pool but uses lower grade materials. Violating the terms of the contract, the client can demand indemnity for damages caused by the contractor's non-compliances.